Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, George Harris joins us, chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government. He's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's your spring headquarters with lawn and garden supplies, power equipment, and outdoor living. Big R on Bering Boulevard in Sparks next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program the chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government, my friend George Harris. How are you, sir?
Wow, thanks, Sam. I appreciate you having me on. I thought we were going to talk about politics today, but you told me that you wanted to talk about some guy's book.
I have been reading the galley proofs of your book, and it is terrific.
Well, thank you.
What inspired you to write a book to help up-and-coming entrepreneurs get into business?
Look, Sam, you know, I was lucky because, you know, my life, it could have been, I could have gone the other way. You know, I joined the military when I was 17 years old.
Right.
Did you hear I joined the military? I think my dad helped me join the military when I was 17 because I might have been a little terror. And the military straightened me out and I got in there, but I continue to see, I've been very lucky. I spent, you know, I'm a service disabled veteran, got out of the military, went to work for some major people. You know, I was Sheldon Adelson's guy. I'm one of Don Ahern's guys. I mean, I've worked for some very titans of industry.
Absolutely.
Okay? Absolute titans of industry. And been given a lot of leeway. And I've learned a lot, and you know, I don't ever say this. I always tell everybody, well, you know, I only have a high school education. Maybe I have a little higher than a high school education, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I want to help kids, male, female, I don't care, because the opportunity is there, but our school system has squelched that opportunity. There's no more entrepreneurialism or, you know, everybody has to get a trophy. And that's not real life.
Okay, but you know what? Let's not blame the school system for that because...
Oh, it is the school system, Sam.
Because the reason
We're not going to argue, are we, Sam?
Of course we are.
Okay.
The reason is that, you know, being an entrepreneur is something that you're born with. It's a certain sense of courage and adventure. You may not even know it's courage at the beginning, but to get into business, you have to have certain skills.
You're wrong.
Because most people would be terrified to be in business, having to make a payroll, having to, for example, and you know this as well as I do, keeping your own paycheck in the drawer uncashed because you got to pay the employees.
Sammy, no one knows that better than me. Look, it is a much easier life if you're endorsing the back of a check.
Right.
Instead of signing the front of the check. I've been lucky enough my whole life, I've always signed the front of checks. But look, it's you don't have to be born to be an entrepreneur. What you have to do is there has to be an atmosphere developed that you can grow if you have an idea. The one thing I get through to kids when I go speak to kids and I speak to groups about entrepreneurialism, the most important thing is ideas. Your ideas.
Right.
And you're going to fail with a bunch of ideas because I have failed a lot.
Right.
Okay? And when kids see that it's okay to fail and start over, then they're more apt to become doctors. And as much as I say this, I'm sorry I'm saying this, or lawyers, but they're much more apt to become something that's going to give back to the world, okay? Instead of becoming a schlub. And I'm anti-schlub. But ideas is where everything starts. And then you have to plant the seed that everything in life is marketing. And Sam, everything in life is marketing. And I'll tell you why you're one of the best marketers on the planet.
Bless you.
No, I mean that because you got Bonnie to marry you. So you are definitely a great marketer.
And this is why she loves you. She may not agree with you on everything, but she does love you. No, I actually agree with you in terms of marketing is everything. And we can get into this more in terms of the political discussion a little later. But no, seriously, you have a book coming out.
Yes.
I've read the galley proofs.
The Upside Down UFO, the Unidentified Flying Objects of Marketing. What a great title.
It's a wonderful title. I just don't know how you missed out on the alien who landed in Las Vegas last week, and that wasn't part of Alien Tequila, which is one of your brands.
Well, you heard that big explosion and everything, and then some of my friends went out with drones and flew all over the whole place, and you know what they didn't see with that big explosion?
That would be the alien?
The crater.
Oh.
There was no crater. So I'm sure that story might have been a little fudged.
Okay. You tell not only the ups, but also the downs of being in business and your own personal story, which, by the way, is fascinating. For people that don't know you, going back to, you talked about being in the military, share what you did in the military. What was your job?
Well, I worked in Special Operations Command.
This is the truth, by the way, folks.
I worked in Special Operations Command. I was in psychological operations. We did paranormal activities. We did remote viewing.
Paranormal activities. Remote viewing.
Remote viewing. I mean, look, the government is very good at spending a lot of money on alternative thought processes. Cyber warfare, before it was even known as cyber warfare. Mentalist warfare. There was a movie that George Clooney did called Men Stare at Goats. And arguably, I was one of the first, I was in that first group of men that stared at goats.
Part of what was interesting in that story was, of all the people you interviewed, that there were only a tiny minority that were actually, you believed, had experiences with extraterrestrial.
Experience that couldn't be explained.
Yeah.
You know, there was a colonel that I think he was on the general, was going to become a general. And there was a bunch of stuff, but you know, I could mark everything off to alcoholism, drug use, in men, mostly immaturity, you know. But you got to read the book, because the story, I don't want to give that whole story away, because that's a good story.
Right. Well, also, your experiences now, I mentioned Alien Tequila. Mm-hmm. This is a tequila that you developed, and you went through the whole process. You also went through a relationship that was part of this process.
That's correct.
And you talk about how, you know, sometimes in business you have to dispatch the relationship to be successful in the business. You want to share a little bit about that?
Well, look,
and no names mentioned.
I tell everybody, your dreams are your dreams. You can't take on other people's dreams. When you take on other people's dreams and you don't like it, as you know, Sam, I was in the restaurant business.
Yes.
And I was really
Mundo
good. And I
was wonderful.
And I was really good at it.
Yes.
But I hated every minute of it.
I know, and that shocked me when I read that. You know, we have been friends for 20 years.
Right.
And I loved Mundo, and I loved Mingo, who was the chef.
Right.
and went to the second iteration of the restaurant as well. And what was great, and people are going to be surprised at this, Republicans and Democrats all came to Mundo
all the time
because the food was so fabulous. The
Because-
seating was so comfortable that I got you to give me the guy who built your seats,
Right.
so that I would have the same
Russian
seating.
guy, the Russian-
the same seating in my kitchen, at my counter, are those beautiful seats that he made.
Sam, I hated it, but that doesn't mean I'm not good at what I do. I mean, we were Zagat rated the best Mexican restaurant in Nevada for like 5 years straight.
Right, and this was at World Market Center.
World Market Center, but it was someone else's dream. It wasn't my dream. So when I talk to these kids, I say, look, you got to come up with ideas, and you got to push those ideas, you know. And I give them hints on how to use. I tell people all the time. They tell me, oh, George, I don't understand the internet. You know, they go on Google and they only go down the first 10 iterations. The gold is when you dig down that hole and you go to the 15th page. That they don't know how to do SEO. They don't know how to do stuff, but they have a great product. And if you have a great idea, we'll just use it real quick for hot sauce. If you want to make hot sauce, first of all hot sauce. Your major brands, you'll be amazed that they're not made by, it's all what they call private label.
Right.
They go to a rectifier, they go to a co-packer, they make it could be, it's no doubt that it's your recipe, okay, but you're not doing it. No one's sitting in, it's done at a professional, big time commercial kitchen, and the sauces are made, and then they're put in the bottles and they're labeled. But you could come up with products, and you're going to fail, but it's okay to fail. I think the story is, here's how you can not fail, but here's my failures. So don't do what I've done, because I've made and lost 4 or 5 fortunes.
Right.
You know?
Right, and you know, if you read the biographies of some of the most successful business people, that's exactly what's in there. They will tell you that they either failed or had near failures multiple times in their career before they hit it really big.
Easy. So someone was asking me the other day, they go, hey, so, you know, you've done all this, and I said, well, you can call me Harlan. And they go, what's Harlan? I said, Harlan Sanders. Well, none of these kids know who Harlan Sanders is. And you have to explain to them, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders.
And how old was he when he started?
62 years old. Kentucky Fried Chicken was started when he was 62 years old, Sam. And by the way, there's a lot of stories like that. And a lot of women in their early 60s and late 60s start companies, and they become billion-dollar companies.
All right, when can we expect this book to be published?
Well,
because we're going to promote the heck out of it on this show.
The proofreading was done. The final edits were done. It's being typeset now. I should have it July, sometime first week of July.
Okay, so when the book is available, you're going to come back on the show.
Sure.
We'll talk about it. We'll do a commercial for you. We're going to take care of this.
I like
It's
that.
going to be a huge hit. All right, let's take a break. I want to come back and talk about somebody that I think about with great affection, Lonnie Hammergren, who passed recently.
Like my dad.
Let's talk about him right after this timeout.
Remember 2010 in northern Nevada, 13 to 14% unemployment, thousands of homes in foreclosure, Nevada's casinos closing? Families in the Reno-Sparks area were hurting. Many were losing everything. Then Story County launched a game changer for our region, a public-private industrial partnership, streamlined permitting, /bureaucracy, attracting Fortune 500 companies that made Nevada their home. Story County generated a river of cash to area communities. Economic studies by the state and others for the Gigafactory consistently show positive economic benefits for our region. $4 billion in local wages, $17 billion in consumer spending and economic activity, over $100 million in taxes to Washoe, Story, Reno, Sparks, and Nevada, just for the Gigafactory alone. Story County, improving northern Nevada one industry at a time.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity.
Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with George Harris. He is the chairman.
You know, before this is over, we have to have an argument, or a bunch of your viewers are not going to be happy.
George is the chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government. Lonnie Hammergren, what a character. Our state's lieutenant governor for a time, served on the Board of Regents. I mean, a wonderful character.
And I knew him since I think I was 6, because we lived in the same neighborhood, and he was, look, Lonnie was like a dad to me, and he was just one of the most wonderful men in the world. Really misunderstood, but when you're that smart.
Well, he was a brain surgeon.
Well, and considered by a lot of people in the world to be one of the top 10 brain surgeons.
Right.
On the planet.
Right.
So that made him very eccentric, because he thought laterally, he thought in 3D, and he thought into the future, and then he thought into the past. Because I would have conversations with him. You know, he goes, you got to come over to the house, you got to come over. I go over to the house, and he's got Monticello, he's got Lincoln's Memorial, all in this fish tank, and I go, okay, Lon, I get it, but what's this about? And he painstakingly drew those to scale for that aquarium.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he thought. It was, you know, and a lot of people say, oh, this all just junk, this, that. Actually, yes, okay, it was, but it was Evel Knievel's motorcycle.
Right, but I mean, he had 3 houses. He had his own house,
put together.
And then he put 2 houses next to it
Mrs.
together.
Robinson lived next door. If you can remember her, she was political and hated him and loved him at the same time. Loved him on one side, hated him on the other side, because she was his neighbor and she thought it was all nonsense. He took the house in the middle and dug under the house and put a big cavern underneath his house for King Tut's tomb and all. And he was just, look, he was the most wonderful. There was never a kinder, more gentler, more passionate, compassionate man than Lonnie Hammergren. I mean, just a wonderful guy.
He came to my office, this is a long time ago now, when we were downtown by the Federal Building. And I wasn't there. Lisa Jansen, my associate, was there. And he brought over a whole bunch of CDs he'd made. From
the Jack Attack.
Yeah.
When he ran for office, and he did a rap song.
Right.
As a 63-year-old man, and nobody even knew what rap was when he did it.
But he was an amazing guy, a real Nevada character.
Very good.
Whoever has the most toys when they die wins. He said he was a winner. That's from Mary Hines' piece in the Las Vegas Review Journal.
And he had the most toys, and he was just a wonderful guy. We're lucky to have people like that. He is a great part of Nevada history. He is equal to and will go down in the Samuel Clemens type atmosphere. And for those of young kids, Samuel Clemens was Mark Twain.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with George Harris. He is the chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government. People are just going to be freaked out at this because so far, no politics, but we're going to politics.
No politics,
now.
No fighting.
Jackie Rosen.
Jackie Rosen.
Main opposition, Jim Marchant.
Jackie Rosen, a.k.a. Wacky Jackie.
Oh, stop.
That's what they call her. Oh, I'm the bad guy because I'm repeating what everybody calls her? Come on.
Respect for United States Senator
Listen,
for the office.
The only one who's wackier than Wacky Jackie is Jim Marchant.
Okay.
How's that?
Why is it that the Republican bench is so thin that this is the candidate that is
Because you
at
have
the
to
top
have
of the
leadership at the top, okay? The cream always rises to the top. And in the Republican Party, we don't have a top management leadership that says, you're not running. So any wackadoo can go file. No one can stop them. And they don't.
So is it over for the Republican Party in the state?
And they don't care about, well, is it over for the Democrat Party? It's the same way.
I'm not arguing.
Listen, here's the deal. Voters have to say to themselves, you know what? This is a very important civic duty I have. And I should take the time to read and learn about these people months and months. I'm talking a year before anybody runs for office. If you were to do any kind of background on Jim Marchant, you would assess in minutes that he's bat crap crazy. He's not, there's helicopters flying around. The world's gonna end. Everybody cheated. They're this, they're that. It's all craziness, okay? And then you have two great candidates that are thinking about running, Sam Brown and Tony Grady, who now get overshadowed by this wackadoo because he's got some people convinced that he's been cheated, and it's just insane.
It's going to be interesting to see Sam Brown take a second run at it and see if
he does it. He hasn't decided to do it yet.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying it will be interesting. Tony Grady, I got to interview him last time around, and he was running for lieutenant governor, and a very smart guy.
And a great story.
And a down-to-earth person, yes, and a great story. I think it's going to depend on if there's a solid person to run a campaign for him.
Okay, so Tony's
and tell his story.
I got to tell you, both of those guys are a really good friend of mine, but Tony's a really good friend of mine. And what a great American story. A black man who is a conservative Republican, okay, who was the commander of the stealth bomber group, who is everything for all children to look up to say, I can make it to the top of this mountain. Just a wonderful man.
And very low key.
Very low key. Very low key.
But a very smart guy. It'll be interesting to see if he jumps in.
Yeah, he doesn't know if he's going to do it.
Right. Well, the rise of the independents. I mean, we're looking at a situation here where the independents are going to be a huge voting bloc here.
No, the independents they are now the voting bloc.
Right, but are they independents who are going to vote Republican or Democrat, or are these independents that are going to be independent thinkers?
Well, Sam, there's an argument to be made with all this political correctness, all this crazy stuff going on. What's happened in our legislature with some of the absolute ridiculous bills that have been passed, that independents are going to be the ones to swing the pendulum back, and it won't be to the left, and it won't be to the middle. It'll be to the centrist right. It won't be far right, but it'll be, look, we want you guys out of our lives.
Okay, we got about a minute and a half here. April Becker announces to run against Ross Miller. That will be quite the race.
April is running against Ross. April's probably one of my favorite people because she's one of the smartest people. If you've never got a chance to meet her, she's just a brilliant woman. Ross is no slouch. Everybody says he's spoiled, he's this and that. He's actually a very smart guy. They're both attorneys.
And they can both raise money.
And they both can raise a lot of money.
Last question here.
Who's going to be the mayor? I can't tell you. I have to kill you.
Is it going to be Trump Biden?
Yeah, Donald Trump will be the nominee.
And will Joe Biden still be there?
No, it's going to be that wackadoo. It's going to be the Merchant of California, the governor of California.
Be respectful.
I am. He's nuts, just like Jim Merchant.
Oh, you're talking about Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom's kookier than a kooky bird. Okay, cuckoo.
Okay, I'm writing this down.
Write it down.
It's going to come back. When the book comes out, you come back.
I got to check and see your ratings.
We'll be right back.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Snorkel personnel lifts are engineered beyond the industry norm to an uncommon level of safety and durability, and with an eye towards sustainability. They're also designed to be simple to operate and maintain. Snorkel, always at the cutting edge of progress.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. We'll see you on the next broadcast.